2 years in the making. A little setback. A little bit of water showed up in Nashville on May 2nd. But this is the finished product. This is my guitar. It's the Blackwater Chad Kroeger model. It's very bizarre to say because I never thought that was going to happen. We were throwing around a lot of ideas in the room when it was like, so what do you want to do? The one thing that kept coming up was trying to get a guitar that had the big thunder, really powerful crunch with distortion, and then the clean tone had to be shimmering and almost, to the point of acoustic sounding. And trying to incorporate that into one guitar, and you guys came up with a Ghost piezo system controlled right here that allows my clean tone to actually go completely acoustic sounding, which gives me an immense amount of versatility without having to switch guitars within one song. I can now give it all from one instrument. I never knew to what level this was going to accomplish what I wanted you guys to accomplish, and you guys actually surpassed my expectations. Because that's a big thing. Within one guitar, getting both to sound exactly the way you want it. I find a lot of guitar players are happy getting the distortion they want, getting a big, heavy thunder sound with their guitar and their guitar rig, but then going to a clean tone. In the studio especially, they'll always switch over and do cleans on another guitar because of the lack of versatility in a lot of guitars. This one enables you to hold on to the same guitar on stage during one song and in the studio. We were having a lot of fun, tossing around a lot of names, but when it came down to being serious, everything was kind of falling short, and we were having a hard time coming up with something. And our fans are so good to us. Somebody came up with the idea, hey, why don't we put it out there to the fans and see if they want to come up with something to name your guitar, and then we can do a giveaway, and whoever comes up with the name will actually get one of these bad boys and win a trip to Vegas, get to party. We're going to play a little poolside thing at Mandalay Bay, and then we're actually going to do the full meal deal in the arena at Mandalay Bay, and they're going to get to come and hang out and do all that fun stuff and take one of these home with them. And we went through thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of name entries, and we finally came up with Blackwater. We narrowed it down, and everybody voted, and I dig it. I thought that it was really cool because it just has a sort of a military aspect to it, like Black Ops, Blackwater. It's it's badass, and it was very suiting, just in terms of the appearance of the guitar. It looks as though it's been left sitting in the water, as though it was painted one color and then it just kind of like faded away into this, and you can see the stripes, you can see where the darkness is on there. It is a gorgeous guitar, and it plays just as well. I want to get into the other aspect of all of this, which is back into the writing. There's been a lot of performing these songs all over the world, and I'm getting that bug, I'm getting that itch. I want to get back in and start recording some new stuff. I want to start coming up with new ideas, and I want to test this bad boy in the studio. I've been really lucky, actually, to go from Santana to Chris Daughtry to Tim McGraw. So it really is all over the map. To be able to hang out and do stuff with Kid Rock, Dimebag Darrell from Pantera. That's the full spectrum right there, and that's really cool. To be able to make music and then hang out with your peers and your heroes, the people that you really, really admire. It's fantastic. Sometimes when you're not even looking, for an act to work with, they just fall into your lap, and the stars sort of align, and you stumble across something that you think could be very special, like My Darkest Days. And we've been working with Matt, the singer, for a long time, at least 2 years, just writing songs together, and then hooking him up with other writers, and recording just a ton of stuff, and then making sure that everything was just perfect before we decided to release anything. There's no sense in going out with just a couple of songs that everyone's proud of, and then just have like 8 songs just sort of sitting there like, oh, we'll just put it out. I mean, that kind of goes against everything that I stand for. I think that everything that you release should get the same amount of focus and attention, and that's what we did with Matt. Oh God, I mean, he was very patient. For us to just sit and go, no, it's not ready, it's not ready, it's not ready, and then finally, here we go. It's nice to see that all come to fruition as well, and see the songs taking off at radio. The band's on the road right now. They're going to be touring until 2020, and things are just getting rolling for them, but things are really taking off. And they had Zakk Wylde and Ludacris on that song as well, Porn Star Dancing, and I believe they all play Gibson guitars too. A lot of people say, where do you find time, where do you find the energy to do, Nickelback and produce and, run 2 record companies and everything else. And I was a lazy kid in school. And, because when you're doing something you hate, it's tough to put, blood, sweat, and tears into that. When you're doing something you love, it doesn't feel like work. And that's why we can go on the road for as long as we do and not get burnt. And, sit in the studio 16 hours a day, every single day for 7 months in a row, and still come back every single day and be excited to get back in there and create or perform or whatever it might be. Because, work a job you love and do a job you love, and you'll never work a day in your life, I think is how it goes. My influences range they're all over the place. I mean, I started playing guitar in probably like, I don't know, 87, something like that. So there was a lot of Metallica in there. Slash, Guns N' Roses and Metallica were the 2 biggest bands in the world in 1989. Who else was a big... Nuno Bettencourt was just an amazing guitar player. He's a shredder. Nuno's... he's laid some stuff down on the tape that's just like... You just sit there and go, oh, dude... Not if you showed me how to play that 1,200 times over and over again would I ever be able to recreate what you've done. Why that came out, why it's sort of random. Who else? Zakk Wylde, great guitar player. Lots of stuff that started off in those days. Late 80s and early 90s. And then the whole grunge thing kind of came in, and it was cool to not be able to really play your instrument and just sort of slam on it and make noise and then just emote through the song instead of making your instrument, really sing and really come alive. Yeah, so I would definitely say if it wasn't for Metallica and Guns N' Roses and bands like that, I probably never would have picked the thing up. Well, the one thing that we're actually very proud of is if you come to a Nickelback show and you got dragged there by a buddy or a girlfriend or whatever it might be, and you're like, yeah, I don't really know the music or I don't really care for it or whatever. The biggest compliment to me is when someone leaves the show and you find out, through the internet or through whoever you wind up meeting them afterwards. It's like, hey, I wasn't a fan, showed up, just kind of like whatever, and then wound up leaving going, that was a great time. Those guys put on a hell of a good show, and I will come back and see them, and I think I'm going to start checking out their tunes. And you take someone who wasn't a fan and turn them into a fan. That's a hell of a